In the last video, I promised you to show you a close-up of the discs and the herniated discs. So you can see a vertebra here and a vertebra here, and then here's the disc in between them. Down here, you can see a herniated disc. See how it has bulged outward, and if it puts pressure on this spinal nerve right here, that could cause pain in the person with a herniated disc. Let's go on now to the general structure of a vertebra. So I'm going to take a vertebra, and here's a vertebra. And let's see. Yes, there's a vertebra. You can see it this way, and then let's orient it that way also, so you get a little bit of a feel for the 3D shape of the vertebra. So what parts of the vertebra are there? This part that projects posteriorly right here is called the spinous process. And if you run your hands down the back of your neck, you can feel those spinous processes sticking out. Remember, a process is a thing that sticks out, so this is the spinous process right here. Projecting laterally to either side are these transverse processes, one on each side. There you get another slightly different view of them if I don't drop this. There you go, transverse processes. This large feature right here is the body of the vertebra, and then the hole in the middle is the vertebral foramen. The spinal cord goes through the vertebral foramen. So the spinal cord passes right through here. Body, transverse process, spinous process, vertebral foramen. The first two cervical vertebrae, C1 and C2, are kind of special. They're a little bit different from the others. This is C1, the first cervical vertebra. It is also known as the Atlas. If you remember, the Greek god Atlas holds up the world, so the first cervical vertebra that holds up your whole head is called the Atlas. Notice that the Atlas has no body. There's no body right there. And let's look at it from a couple of different angles. See that it is much smaller and lighter and no body. The second cervical vertebra, coming from the top, is called the axis. And the axis is a little bit special because it has this thing that projects superiorly upward called the odontoid process. Right here is the odontoid process. Odontoid, dentist, it looks sort of like a tooth. That's why it's called the odontoid process. And if you put C1 and C2 together, like this, it begins to make sense. Let me get them right here. Like this. Begins to make sense. The odontoid process projects upward into this region right here of C1. And C1 rotates on C2 like this. Whoops. There we go. C1 rotates on C2, and that's what allows you to shake your head no. And the second cervical vertebra also has a special name. It's called the axis. So Atlas, C1, axis, C2, odontoid process.